Okay, well, greetings everyone and welcome to another video. Today I am at a place that's fairly close to where I live and has a little bit of some history to it. I'm actually at my township building over here, which is now all public land and is playgrounds over here and everything. But I want to give you a brief history of this building over here and the grounds we're going to be walking on. We're actually going to be in search of an old abandoned swimming pool, in-ground swimming pool from the camp that was here. I don't believe it's here anymore, the walls or anything, but I'm pretty sure they filled it in a couple. And you can see who's with me. That guy again. You got your Grey Poupon this time?
Yes, I do.
Anyway, this where I'm at over here is actually called Gordon Park, but it was originally known as Camp Larchwood and then another camp before that. So I'll give you the brief history here in just a second of the place. But this in-ground swimming pool that we're going to be looking for, I'm pretty sure was filled in over the years. I remember as a teenager coming over here, you could look down through the woods during the winter time and you could still see the swimming pool there, and I think they had steps going into it, but that was back in the 80s and everything. But well, we're going to walk down there and check it out and just walk around here real quick and check out the park and give you a history of it. Not going to be a long video or anything, but it's just a little unique area that I thought I'd share with everybody. All right, so this camp at one time was known as Camp Larchwood, and the reason why it got its name is because of the big trees that are there. The people who first built this camp planted these trees. So larch means basically trees all having deciduous needle-like leaves. So pretty much all these pine trees that are here were planted by the people who first established this camp. It was established by a group from Philadelphia, and if I can find the actual name of it here. Okay, so the camp at one time was owned and founded by the Philadelphia Chapter of Nature Friends, an organization with German roots that offered industrial workers and their children a chance at recreation away from the city. Back in the 1930s, Germans fleeing Nazi repression swelled to the ranks of the Nature Friends. Over time, German families from the local area bought farms and homes in District Township and became permanent residents. So District Township was not always called District Township. It was known as the Ole Hills. And I'll put some information up on the screen rather than trying to find all of it here. Just telling you about the area here and how it came to be. So the camp was built on a 160-acre farm purchased in the 1930s by the Philadelphia local of Nature Friends, which was made up largely of post-World War German immigrants. So it was also known as the Landis Store Nature Friends Camp, which hosted up to 150 people at a time during the 1940s and the 1950s. So what it did was the chapter of the Nature Friends, it offered industrial workers and their children a chance at recreation away from the city. So it was, they had a swimming pool which was built on a creek. So it was natural water from the creek that would run into this in-ground swimming pool and everything. So they had ball diamonds here, which are still here today. There's now a tennis court also there now, which was added later, but it later changed the name to Gordon Park. So it was sold to a farmer named Gordon, whose widow donated several parcels of land to the township. That's how it got the name Gordon Park, because it was named after that person. So let's start walking around here and start making our way down the trail and see if we can find the remains of this pool. All right, so the park and township buildings actually located on the corner of Weil Road and Landis Store Road. And when you come into the place, there is a headstone here with the name of the park, Gordon Park, and donated by Leonard and Harriet Gordon, dedicated on July 21st, 1979. So you can see down there the parking area. This whole area up here was parking back when I was a teenager in the 80s, but they shrunk the parking lot down, so it's down there. The township building, which we'll go down and look at, and I'm pretty sure that this playground over here was where the playground to the camp was back in the day. If I can find old aerial photographs online, I'll insert them in the video with what was what here at the camp. But again, there's a little bit of information about it on here that I found on the Berks Historical website and the township website. But as far as pictures when the camp was in operation, yeah, there's hardly any pictures. And then this headstone here, this is a familiar name to me. I known this guy when I was a teenager. He was the roadmaster for the township. So they dedicated the fields back here in honor of him for his 41 years of service and dedication to the township, which is now have tennis courts in them, which were not here when the camp was going on, but the ball diamond that you see back there, that is original to the camp. And there's the ball diamond, and out in that wooded area there, there were some cottages at one time which aren't there anymore, and most of that land out there is now private property. But I remember as a kid, there used to be an outhouse that was still standing back there from the camp. That was the only thing that I could find when I was a teenager. I'm sure there might have been more outhouses back there, but couldn't find any remains or anything. The one that was there was the only one that was left. But this is the playground for the residents of the township, and residents can rent the park here. I don't know what the fee is to do it, but it's for the residents. And then we're going to walk down to what is now the Municipal Office, which used to be the lodge or mess hall or whatever you want to call it with the camp. And you can't see it that good right now, but right over in there is a stone house that was also part of the camp, which is now private property. And there was more cottages, I believe, over in that area as well. But there is the lodge or the hall that was part of the camp, which is now the Municipal Office, where they hold all the township meetings and where you go to vote on election day. All right, so coming down along the side of the township building is the trail, which is going to lead us down across Landis Store Road and over to where the swimming area was. All right, so we crossed over Landis Store to the path that comes down here, and right over here is the creek, which isn't flowing that much right now because it's summertime, but it does flow pretty good in the spring during the thaw. But this clearing that's up here is where the swimming pool is, and they didn't fill it in. I'm looking through the trees and everything's still there yet.
So there's parts of it are missing.
So there you go. Off the path we found one of the concrete wall here where the creek is, a metal grate down there, and there is a pipe running
Down into where the pool would be.
Yeah, down into the pool, but I'm pretty sure the whole creek itself flowed around here and into the pool. But we'll find that out, find out more once we get down here and start walking around the remains. What I probably should have done with this video, I probably should have done this in the winter or the early spring before we had all the leaves on And
What were you thinking?
yeah, I know. I wasn't thinking, but scheduling wise, it just didn't pan out for me. Plus, RJ said he wanted to come along on this little excursion, so I wanted to include him with it. But yeah, probably could find a lot more up by the township building over by the ball diamonds. Might be able to find remains there, but again, it's summertime and everything's growing. So as I'm walking and talking, RJ found this, the metal railing, which would go into, I believe this would have been the shallow end of the pool. So this is probably where you either walked into the pool or down to the cement decking or whatever of the pool. Not quite sure, but here's the creek flowing around again, and it's going over towards where the pool was.
Oh, I see the pool.
All right, there you can see the wall right here, and right in front of me here is another metal railing, and over there is the other wall to the pool. So yes, this did get filled in over the years with the creek, with the sediment and everything, but fairly certain this would have been the shallow end of the pool. So here is the actual pool, which have a bunch of frogs in it.
They get to swim in it. We don't.
Yeah, they can swim in it, but we don't. You don't want to swim in it. But yeah, this is it. This is cool because I thought they filled this in. Right here is another railing where you would climb down into the pool, and RJ asked the question to me is if the pool was all concrete or if they just built the wall and basically dug out and it was just basically a ground bottom. And I don't have the answer to that question, so, and I didn't see it on the information that I had on the history of the park. But I'm going to walk across this little bridge here, venture over to the other side, and see if we can find if there was a diving board here or not. All right, so since there was a creek constantly flowing into this pool here, the bridge that I'm standing on, right there you can see is the spillway of how the water would have got out of the pool when it got too full, and then it would have went down over, continued on under the bridge, and came out on this side here, which you can see those rocks were placed there if it shows up by man for the water to flow over without eroding the ground away. All right, so RJ found a concrete pad down here. We're going to walk down there and figure out what was down here. All right, so here is the concrete pad that RJ came across. So this probably might have been a changing room, or I don't think it was an outhouse or anything. They were, oh, I guess that would have been over there's the outhouse. Oh yeah, it's definitely looks like a two-person outhouse because it looked like it was, there was a divider in the middle there. But this is actually cinder block here.
So these would have been the walls, obviously.
Yep. So this probably was, we're guessing, and if I, find out more information, I'll correct myself at the bottom of the screen. Or if anybody that watches this video knows more information, feel free to leave it in the comments. So there is, I guess, the remains of the outhouse. There's a pipe laying right here. And then right over there is another round cylinder concrete style thing. There's another look of the spillway and the wall to the pool from underneath that bridge. And we're going to go over to where RJ was. He said he did find the remains of where the diving board was, which is right over there where he's standing. And there is the remains of the diving board. So my assumption was correct, that where we started was the shallow end of the pool, and this was obviously the deep end of the pool. Whether it's real deep anymore with it being filled in over the years with sediment, but this was definitely deep enough that they had a diving board. There's another concrete structure, concrete foundation down there, but we don't know what that's for. If that went to the pool or not. But there looks like an area back here that was sort of flat with the way the land is there, but there's some names carved on the trees, but I don't know how old those names are.
Somebody's a Stephen King fan. There's a lot of buildup of debris in here.
All right, I came over from the swimming pool, and this here would have been another form of drainage area. Because there you can see the concrete wall, and there's also a piece of corrugated metal pipe that comes out there. Now where that would have went to or came from, I don't know, but I do see right up in there is another concrete formation that I'll go and check out. Okay, so here's the other piece of the concrete, and there's that pipe which goes through to the other side. So this might have been another creek flow in here, because there is a little pipe down there that you can see the trickle of water going down into. So I'm not sure if that also fed into the pool. And I'll go back down and see if I can find that, see if that pipe comes out in the pool at all. But looks like there was definitely another creek here at one time, which back in the day the water levels were different because you didn't have all the homes in the area, so the underground water table was higher, and obviously, you know, the springs, the water would have came up out of the ground. Okay, so my assumption was correct. That creek did feed into this pool. There you can see the water coming out. And then down here is another rectangular opening into the pool. So we don't know if this right here would have been a another opening for drainage. I don't know, don't think they would have had filtration systems in here, but you never know. We'll stick you down along the side there and check it out. So RJ is getting a stick there to measure how deep the area is there, but just looking here you could see that this area would have been open at one time. So this is probably an area where they had lounge chairs or whatever, an area to lay and sunbathe. But he's got a big stick that he's going to stick in the water here and see if we can get an idea of the depth right here.
This is where I found it 4 feet.
Oh, look at all that sinking. Look at all that mud bubbling up though. Bottom.
And it's concrete.
Concrete bottom.
It's solid.
So pull that out. So we're here.
That's about 4 feet.
Yeah, so this would have been approximately 4 feet right here, but you saw all those air bubbles coming up. There is a lot of mud in there, but the bottom.
Yeah, you can see the debris just under the surface.
But the bottom is solid, so that means this was all concrete. Oh wow. So RJ just pointed this out, and I don't know if it's going to show up on the video, but you can see like a haze on the top of the water. And from him pushing that down there with the leaves and everything, he said that is methane coming up there that's laying on top of the water.
From the leaves and stuff.
Yeah, it's probably can't see it, but Mike can see it. It's like right there is where part of the haze is, or almost like an oily.
Like a sheen.
Yeah, sheen. All right, so we're back over where the diving board would have been. And what was funny over there, it got shallower along the wall over there as we got closer, but that's about close to about 6 feet.
Or just under 6 feet.
Yeah, so it's about 6 feet deep right here.
It probably I'm going to assume it probably goes a little deeper out there. So when you would dive off, the diving board probably hung out to at least.
So yeah, it probably could be deeper out there. So it gets
deeper further out.
This is all shallow around here and still over on that side where I thought it would be like going across here be all deep, but it's only about 4 feet over on that side. But here, right at the edge, it's 6 feet, just maybe under 6, and then probably gets deeper out here in the center. Yeah, so he did stick the stick out a little bit further there, and it does drop off more dramatically. And there's lots of methane coming up on top of the water there. So yeah, the stick was, when he brought the stick out and stuck it up, it was over his head, the water level. So it does go on a slant and drops off dramatically as you go further out. All right, so RJ discovered some remains over here that I want to look at, and looks like there's another concrete pad here, so I don't know what this would have been. Might have been some kind of structure, but there's a washer there with something anchored into that. So this was definitely some kind of building maybe. And then just over from this concrete pad on the tree, there are some old chains that are on there, which are, the hooks are driven in and they are quite rusty. So they have been here for quite a bit of time. All right, so I'm walking over to find where this old wooden structure would have been over here, but RJ missed this. But there was electric going back here to this swimming pool, because the lines are still there and there's still a transformer on there yet. So there's an electric pole, which makes me wonder if that over there was like the electrical room or something, maybe a structure that housed breaker boxes or something, since it's in such a close proximity to where the pole is. Because there is a line coming off of the transformer, which is just on the ground there. And no, it's not live, because I don't believe the fuses are there anymore, or that the transformer is even connected to the primary lines. So yeah, just standing here looking at this electric pole with the line coming down, there's still a guide wire attached to it yet. Back to this thing here, and I just see it now, there's an air hose laying there. So maybe they did have electric back here in that rectangular thing that I showed you down there. Maybe there was a filtration system to this pool and everything. Like I said, there's very little information about this, but that could very well be the be the case there.
But his theory disturbed the ants.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll leave.
It over with my foot.
All right, we'll leave the ants alone. But right there, right there, I picked a piece up, and this hose that's here, that's plastic hose to a filtration system. So things are starting to make more sense now.
We're putting the pieces to the puzzle.
Yes,
together.
the pieces to the puzzle are coming together.
Yeah, look at this. Here's either a switch box or an outlet box.
There's electric. That was some kind of.
Noticed. Where'd it go? What was this?
It was definitely some kind of. Oh, you know what that looks like? It looks like a contact thing.
Yeah,
the contact would get drawn in.
Yeah.
Yep. Pieces to the puzzle that you find.
All right, so we have it's a circuit breaker. It's a push-o-matic circuit breaker, and it was made by Bulldog Electric Products Company of Detroit, USA. I'm looking for a date. See, there's a date on it, but I don't see anything yet. So it was a circuit breaker.
All right, so here is this wood pile that RJ was telling me about with a bunch of boards laying here. So this might have been a structure here at one time, or if it was just piled up. Not sure. There's nothing else there. It's just pieces of wood with yeah, it had shingles on it one time too, because there's the red shingle, black shingles you can see. Getting back up closer to the upper end of the pool, there's another railing there. Another ladder laying in the water there, close to where we stuck that stick in. Back over on this side of the pool, there's some eye bolts that are in here, about 4 of them going down along there. So there was something that was tied off here at some point.
4, 5 now, probably 6 or
7. Yeah, could have been more in here, not sure. So this right here looks like some of the neighborhood kids or whatever build a little bit of a shelter here. And RJ's in the back there, and he found a pipe sticking up out of the ground. Don't know what that would have been for, but yeah, that's definitely been there for a while.
Get out of my yard!
And the troll living inside. So yeah, something could have been at one time where that pipe is there. There could have been something over here too, but this area back here is full of rocks, but it almost looks like even over in that area there, it looks like that something could have been there at one time. So here at the road crossing, or where the path comes out to the road, there was where there would have been a gate here, because right there is the fence, and then RJ spotted this stuff here, which might have been part of the gate here too. But in the back there you can see it. All right, so that is going to wrap it up for this video here at Gordon Park in District Township and the old Camp Larchwood swimming pool. So my thanks to RJ for tagging along on this video, and again, the link to his channel will be down there in the description field. So if you did like the video, please give it the thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down there and the bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos to YouTube. So until next time, it's have a ball and do it all. We'll see you soon.